Hey family, so I was just taking a walk and doing some praying and thinking, and one of the things that I was praying and thinking about was some of the questions that I've gotten about praying through the armor of God. And one of those questions was whether or not we want to use this prayer of praying the armor like more than just once. This is something that we should do on a regular basis. And one of the parts of that question, which I really appreciated, was is I don't want to just repeat a prayer over and over again. And there is scripture that says that's not a good thing. And we know that there are traditions that have a lot of written prayers, and people pray those over and over again and never get to a point where they actually pray things from their heart or from their mind. They just recite those prayers, and that's the way they pray. And that is not what we see in scripture as the way to pray, right? And so one thing I will say is that scripture does contain a lot of pieces and passages that make good prayer patterns. Example would be the Lord's Prayer, where Jesus tells the disciples, here's how you pray. And he isn't saying to repeat those words over and over again. And some traditions call that the Lord's Prayer. Some traditions call that the Our Father. But in that, I heard one preacher call it the Lord's Prayer Seminar. And that is what it was. He was giving us a pattern of what to pray. Not necessarily to say those particular words over and over again, but a pattern and subjects to pray by. Another example would be the prayer that a lot of us have been praying: create in me a clean heart, O God, renew a right spirit within me. And when we pray that, more comes out than just that. We talk about the things that are in our heart that are not clean, and we talk about the things that, God, hey, help me to get rid of this. God, I give this to you. And it turns into more than just that. That's the idea behind the praying the armor. We want to get into more than just putting a helmet on. We want to actually deal with the particular thoughts that are in our minds, that are in our heads. We want to do more than just put on the breastplate. We want to actually deal with what's in our hearts and allow God to deal with that and help us not to feel shame, but and a lot of things like that. So as we're praying the armor, we will see that there's more to do than just say the words. And so with that in mind, as often as you feel to do it, do it. Especially as you're establishing it. If this is the first time you've prayed the armor of God, or if it's been a long time since you've prayed the armor of God and you've put that on a regular basis, I would suggest doing it daily for a while and let that over time really help you to establish the idea of putting on the armor of God in your life. After that happens and it's established, then you'll get to a point where some days it will be good to go through the whole thing again and just make it clear. Either it's going to be a rough day, or you feel like you're going to be doing a lot of praying for other people and things like that. Put it on and do the whole thing. There may be some days, once you've established it in your life, that you can even just say, hey, as you're praying, hey, God, I ask that you would cover me with your blood, God, that you would, forgive me, and establish that connection. And you can just say, as your son and your soldier, I put on the armor of God in my life, and everywhere I go, I'm walking in that. Or you may just pray one piece of the armor. You might just say, hey, God, I'm getting ready to go into this place that I know is full of a lot of contention, but you've made me to be a person of unity and peace. And God, I put on the shoes of peace before I walk into this building. And I pray that peace would go in front of me and behind me, and that you would just allow the peace that you've given me to overflow into the lives of other people. And everywhere I go, let me carry peace. And so you can just pray one piece of the armor. So those are the different ways and timings in which you would do it. Do you have to pray it every day? No. It's not something, your salvation is not dependent on, like the Our Father in some traditions. That's not it. But as a disciple, you want to put on the armor and know you're walking with that armor on, because it is the way that you defeat things in the Spirit. It's the way that you have victory in the Spirit. And we are a small group that is having victory. So love you guys. Please let me know what other questions you have. I think the future videos are going to focus on different pieces of the armor a little bit more, so that we can just make sure we clarify and learn the most we can about it. All right, love you guys. See you soon.